press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi everyone. So far we completed the chapter The Living Word. Let us discuss some important questions based on this chapter. Let us start. The first question is, the defining property or the characteristic of living organisms is, they have given 4 options. The first is development, second one is increase in mass, third is response to external stimuli, and growth. See, a defining property is the one which is unique to living organisms only. So, that particular feature or the character is not exhibited by the non-living things. Okay, no non-living thing should exhibit that particular feature or the character. So, that must be exclusively to living organisms only. Only the living organisms should possess the character, and no non-living thing should not possess that character. So, then we can call that property is a defining property of living organisms. So, we discussed so many characteristic features of living organisms like growth, reproduction, metabolism, response to external stimuli, okay, and movement. So, everything we discussed. So, in that only a few are the defining property of living organisms, because that particular character is only in the living organisms. So, here they are given 4 options. No? First is development, the second is increase in mass, the third is response to external stimuli, and fourth one is the growth. So, here increase in mass, it is nothing but a growth. How we define growth? So, it is increase in the mass of an individual. Okay. So, here growth occurs in living organisms because of the formation of new cells, that is the multiplication of cells and the addition of material that is inside, that is intrinsic. Growth in living organisms is intrinsic, but in non-living organisms, so if I define that growth is increase in mass, the non-living things will also grow by the accumulation of material on its surface. So, that growth in case of non-living things is extrinsic growth. So, as non-living materials also increases in its mass due to the accumulation of material from its outside source. So, growth, development, increase in mass, okay, we cannot call them as a defining property or the characteristic feature of living organisms. So, only response to stimuli. So, response to external stimuli, all living organisms will respond to the surrounding. No non-living things will have that feature. So, here the defining property or a characteristic feature of living organisms is the third option, that is response to external stimuli is correct. Okay. Next we will move on to the second question. A famous botanical garden known as Royal Botanical Garden is located in Darjeeling, India. So, that is Layard Botanical Garden is located in Darjeeling in India. Lucknow, that is National Botanical Garden is there in Lucknow. Kew, England. So, here they are given Royal Botanical Garden. No? So, that is located in Kew, England. Aura, India, that is in Aura there is an Indian Botanical Garden. So, here they are given Royal Botanical Garden. You know what is Botanical Garden? That is it is one of the important taxonomical aid where the living plants are grown for reference, right? So, they play a very important role in the conservation of endangered plant species, right? So, there are so many famous botanical gardens are there, like Indian Botanical Garden, that is in Auraha, National Botanical Garden, that is in Lucknow, Layard Botanical Garden, that is in Darjeeling, and here they are given Royal Botanical Garden, right? So, that is located in Kew, England. So, third option is the correct one. Then we will move on to the next question. A national herbarium is that which contains plants of. So, they are given a region, they are given national herbarium, no? So, that means it is that which contains the plants of a region, a country, a locality, a word. So, here they are given national herbarium, right? So, here the option is a country. Second option is correct, that is a national herbarium is that which contains a plant of a country. Okay. So, second option is correct. Then next question. A place of collection of dried plant specimens is herbarium, arboreum, botanical garden, all of this. So you already know what is herbarium, what is botanical garden. So what is the difference between herbarium and the botanical garden? So in herbarium, the plant specimens, okay, the plant specimens are collected, they are dried, they are pressed and preserved on an herbarium sheet, right, okay. But whereas in botanical garden, the living plants are grown in the botanical garden. So the different types of plants from different, which are obtained from different places are grown in the botanical garden. So it's an, so they play a very important role in the ex situ, it's an example for ex situ conservation of plant species, right. So in ex situ conservation, the plants are the conservation of plants outside their natural habitat. So in the botanical garden, so the plants which are going to become extinct, that is endangered plants, are grown in the botanical garden so that they are conserved, right. But in herbarium, the plant specimens, they are collected, they are dried, then they are pressed on the herbarium sheet. Arboreum in Latin, it means it is a tree like. So the right option here is the herbarium. So herbarium is a place of collection of dried plant specimen. So that is the first option is correct, because arboreum, it is it's a tree like in Latin meaning. A botanical garden, in botanical garden the living plants are grown. So fourth option they have given all of these. So the first option is correct. The herbarium is a place where the dried plant specimens are collected. So that helps in the identification of identification and studies. Let us see the next question. A taxonomical key is used for conserving various plant species. Second is studying geography of a plant. Third is identification of plants and animals, and the nomenclature of plants and animals. So a taxonomical key, we discussed so many taxonomical aids, no. So here taxonomical key is also an important taxonomical aid. So the main, that key is mainly used for the identification of plants and animals. So key usually contains, so based on similarities and dissimilarities, so one can accurately identify the correct plants and animals, because in keys they are having they have a set of the alternate characters, contrasting characters. So usually they are in pairs, no. So that is called as couplet, right. So one has to choose the right statement, one has to choose the right option. So by choosing the right option, so one can come to the correct identification of plants and animals. So a taxonomical key is used for identification of plants and animals. So third option is correct. Then next question. According to binomial nomenclature, scientific name of an organism consists of. So you know that binomial nomenclature, a method of naming the living organisms. So binomial nomenclature, bi means what? Two. So it is a scientific method of naming the living organisms with two components. So according to binomial nomenclature, every living organism should possess a scientific name, a particular scientific name, and that scientific name consists of two components. So the first component that represent a generic name, and second one is the specific epithet. So you know that. So according to binomial nomenclature, the scientific name of an organism consists of a generic name and a specific epithet. Second option they have given only the generic name. Third option is given, they have given specific epithet, and the fourth is none of this. See here, binomial, there should be two components in the binomial nomenclature, not only a generic name or not only a specific epithet. So binomial nomenclature, but it must include both generic name and the, after that, after the generic name, the name comes as the specific name, species name or the specific epithet. So both generic name and the specific epithet forms a binomial nomenclature. So the first option is the correct one. According to binomial nomenclature, scientific name of an organism consists of a generic name and a specific epithet. Okay, first option is correct. Then we will move on to the next question. All related species are kept under. So you know there are 7 different taxonomic categories, right? Starting from if you arrange them in a descending order, that is from kingdom to species. So kingdom followed by phylum with respect to animals, and division with respect to plants. After the phylum, the next is, so kingdom, phylum, a division, a class, okay, order, family, genus and the species. So kingdom, phylum, okay, it is followed by class, order, family, genus and the species. So there are 7 different taxonomic categories. So when it comes to ascending order, so it is arranged from species to kingdom. So here they have given all related species are kept under. So next to the species, so species is a lowest rank, lowest level in the taxonomical hierarchy, and next to this, the next higher level in the taxonomical hierarchy after the species is genus. So all related species must kept under the next higher unit or the next higher level of classification, that is the genus. So here they have given 4 options, right? A different genus due to different evolutionary courses. That means they are saying all related species are kept under different genus, they are telling. Second one is various groups according to the similarities and dissimilarities. They are not placed under the various groups according to similarities and differences. Different higher taxa on the basis of morphological differences. That means different higher taxa, that may be in the genus or in the family order, like that, and one common genus. See here, all related species, that means the related species, no, they are placed under a single, that is one common genus. See, for example, if you take example lion, what is the scientific name of lion? Panthera leo. And when it comes to tiger, it is Panthera tigris. Okay, so Leo and tigris. So species are different, but they are placed in the single genus, a common genus, that is Panthera. So all related species are kept under a one common genus. So 4th option is correct. Then we will move on to the next question. Biological organization starts with. The first one is organismic level, cellular level, submicroscopic molecular level, atomic level. See here, what is biological organization? That means it is the hierarchy of the biological structures or the biological systems that define our life. So here biological organization, it starts with a molecular level, okay, and this is the lower level where the biological organization starts with. And the higher one is the biosphere. So molecular level, then cellular level, tissue level, then organ level, organ system level, organisms level, okay, then population level, community, ecosystem and biosphere. So here they have given biological organization. No? So when it comes to biological organization, so it starts with not with the atomic level, because they are given here biological organization. No? So it begins with a submicroscopic molecular level, because all living organisms are having the molecules like that you have studied in the biomolecules, like carbohydrates, proteins, okay, then lipids, nucleic acids. So all these biomolecules are organized to form the cell organelles of a cell, and they cannot be seen without the microscope. Okay, so biological organization starts with the submicroscopic molecular level, where all different types of molecules are organized to form the organelles of a cell. So the right option here is submicroscopic molecular level. Then next question. Choose the wrong statements regarding universal rules of nomenclature. So you know the rules of binomial nomenclature, right? The first word in a biological name represent a genus. Of course, binomial nomenclature consists of 2 components. That is the first name representing the generic name or the genus name, and the second one is the species name or the specific epithet, right? So the first option is correct then. The first word in a biological name represent the genus. It is a correct. It is correct one. And the first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter. Of course, the genus name, So one more rules of binomial nomenclature is the genus name should always start with a capital letter, whereas the specific epithet, that's the species name, should always start with a small letter. So here the first word they have given, the first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter. So that is the correct one. Then next, both the words in a biological name, that means both genus name and the generic name and the specific epithet. So when they are handwritten or separately underlined. So if the biological name is handwritten, they must be underlined separately. If they are printed, that should be in the italics. So third option is also correct. Biological names are generally in English and written in italics. See here, biological names are always they must be in Latin. Okay, the biological names are generally derived from Latin, irrespective of their origin. They are either derived from Latin or they may be Latinized irrespective of the origin. So here that is the wrong option, wrong statement, because biological names are generally in Latin and when printed it should be in the italics. So fourth option is the wrong statement. So the right option is fourth one. Carnivora includes group of the first option, group of organisms belonging to related families, a group of organisms belonging to related genera, a group of organisms belonging to the related species, a group of organisms which are similar in all features. See, carnivora that represent a order. So after 7 different taxonomical categories, the next higher level comes after the order is the class. So class includes a group of related orders, right? So carnivora and here they are given carnivora. Carnivora is the order. Carnivora includes group of organisms belonging to related families. First comes the lower unit is, the lower level is species. Next to species is a genus. So related species are kept under a common genus and related genera are placed in the single family, and related families, that means a group of organisms which belonging to related families, no, so they are placed under the same order. Okay, that is here they have given carnivora, that is a order. So that includes what then? Group of organisms belonging to the related families. Okay, next, so which is the right option here? The first one is the right option. Then we will move on to the next question. A correct binomial epithet of a garden pea. Garden pea. What is the scientific name of garden pea? Pisum sativum. So you already know the rules of binomial nomenclature. Let us recall it once again. So biological the binomial epithet should consist of two components, two names. The first is the generic name and the single name that consists of two components. The first is generic name and the second one is the specific epithet. Okay, and generic name should always written in a capital letter. It start with a capital letter, and whereas the specific epithet should start with a small letter. And if they are handwritten, if the scientific name is handwritten, that should be underlined, both the generic and the scientific specific epithet, no, so that should be underlined separately. But if they are printed, they should be in the italics. And after the name of that particular scientific name of that particular organism, the author name or its discoverer name should be written after the specific epithet in the abbreviated form. Okay, so they have given 4 options. You have to find out according to rules of binomial nomenclature the method, which method of writing the scientific name is the correct one. First is Pisum sativum Linn. Okay, see both Pisum sativum, P is in capital letter, generic name is in capital letter, yes, sativum specific epithet is in small letter, that is right, and they are in italics only, italics also, and after that there is a author name they are given Linn, that is in the abbreviated form. So first option is correct. When it comes to the second option, Pisum sativum, they were not given the author name, no, so it is not considered as the correct binomial epithet. And third option, they have given all the 3 names, but it is not in the italics. And in the fourth option, everything is in the italics. So the right option is the first one, the Pisum sativum Linn. First one is the correct one. Okay, so the correct all Pisum, sativa and limb, all the three components that together form a binomial epithet. So correct binomial epithet of Gordon P is Pisum, sativum, limb. Then next. Each statement of the key is called. The first one couplet, second one taxon, the third is a lead, and fourth one is a category. Each statement in a key, key is an important special taxonomical aid. So that is used in the identification of plants and animals. So in a key there is a set of contrasting characters, right? So they are generally in a pairs. So that is called as what? A couplet. And each statement, so one can identify the plant and animal by choosing the right option. So they are given the statements, that is alternate set of characters in a sequential manner, and one has to choose the right option to identify for the correct identification of plants and animals. So every statement, each statement in a key, it is called as what? A lead. So third option is correct. Then next question. Find out the correct sequence in a hierarchy. The first one. So taxonomic hierarchy, it is nothing but the arrangement of 7 different categories, either in a descending order or in a ascending order. Either in a descending order means kingdom to species, in the ascending order means species to a kingdom. So the first option they are given phylum, after that they are given a class, then what should come next after the class? Order should come, but they are given family, so first option is wrong. And the second option, species, a genus, so that is in the ascending order. Species, a genus, after genus what should come? A family must come no after the genus, so here they are given phylum in the second option, so that is also wrong. Then third one is a class, no, either it should start from, when it comes to descending order it should start from a kingdom. When it start from ascending order, it should start with a species, okay. But here they are given class first, so third option is also wrong. Then fourth one is species, okay, then genus, then family, then after the family, the next higher level in a taxonomical hierarchy is the order, and then class, okay. So after the class what comes? A phylum, then finally the kingdom, okay. So the fourth option is correct. Then we will move on to the next question. Flora contains information on any one taxon of a plant, so that is monograph. Information containing any one taxon of a plant is a monograph. A flora contains an actual account of habitat and distribution of plants in a given area. And third option they have given dead specimens of plants which are carefully preserved. So the dead specimens of plants which are carefully preserved. So if it is plant specimens are dried and pressed and preserved on herbarium sheet, so that forms a herbarium. And collections of skeletons are animals only. So flora is taxonomical aid. It's actually a book. It contains information about the plants which are found in a particular place or a particular area. So that usually gives an account of habitat of plants which are found in a given area and the distribution of those plants in a particular given area. So that is what the flora. So flora contains an actual account of habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. Second option is correct. Then next is from species to kingdom. The number of common characteristics among organisms goes on increasing, decreasing, increasing up to taxon family, then after the family it decreases, that saying, decreasing up to class and then increases afterwards. See, from species to kingdom. So species, kingdom is the highest level in a taxonomic hierarchy, whereas species is the lowest rank or lowest level in a taxonomical hierarchy. So how can we define species? A group of organisms with fundamental similarities which are able to interbreed to produce fertile offsprings. So then we can say all that particular organisms which are able to interbreed to produce a fertile offsprings with all the fundamental similarities will belongs to the same species. And the species, the related species are placed in the next higher unit of classification, that is the genus, and related genera are placed in the family, and related families are placed in the order, and so on. Okay. So as we move on from species to kingdom, the common characteristics in which the organisms share will decrease or increase. So the number of common characteristics will go on, it will goes on decreasing from species to kingdom. So from kingdom to species, the number of common characteristics increases, but here they are given from species to kingdom, no? So from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics will goes on decreasing. So which is the right option then? Second one is the right option. Then next question. Herbarium sheets provide information about a place and date on which the plant specimen was collected, place from where animal specimen is collected, only botanical name of the plant specimen is mounted on it, date, place and local name of a cellular organism mounted on such sheets. See, herbarium, you know that is the storehouse of dried plant specimens. So the plant specimens which are there collected, they are dried and they are pressed and they are preserved on the herbarium sheets, and on those herbarium sheets, no, they are arranged in a universally orderly manner, that is universally accepted system of classification. And every herbarium sheet, no, it contains information. So on the right lower corner of each herbarium sheet, there should be a label that carries information regarding date of collection and the place where that particular plant specimen is collected, its local name, its English name, its scientific name, and to which family that particular plant belongs to, and the collector name. So all such a label containing all such information, it is placed on the right lower corner of the herbarium sheets. So here they are given place and date on which plant specimen was collected, that is right. Place from where animal specimen they are given, that is wrong. Only botanical name, not only botanical name. So as I said, all other information also there on that herbarium sheet. And date, place and local name of acellular organisms they are given here. Date, place and local name of plant specimen. Okay. So that will be the right answer. So here in the given options, the right answer is the first one. Place and date on which the plant specimen was collected. Then next question. In museums, insects are preserved. So you know that museums are the place where the both plants and animal specimens are exhibited. Okay. Here they are given 4 options. Insects they are given. In museums, insects are preserved by mounting them alive in jars with various preservative solutions. Usually in museums, no, the plants and animal specimens are they are preserved in a jars or glass containers by using preservative solutions. But when it comes to insects, so the insects are there, first they are collected, later they are killed and then pinned, okay, and then they are mounted on the special insect boxes. Okay. So the right option is in museum, the insects are preserved by mounting them alive, they are given in the first option, so it is wrong. Killing, pinning and then stuffing. So stuffing is usually done for larger animals, that is not for insects. Then pinning without killing them and then preserving in a containers, they are not preserving without killing, they are given. So when the insects are collected, later they are killed, then they are pinned and then they are mounted on special insect boxes. Okay. So the last option they are given, no, so that is the right option. Then next question. So killing, pinning and then mounting in special boxes. Then next question. Match the column first with the column second. Column first in the given, they are given taxonomical aids like museum, herbaria, botanical gardens and the taxonomic key. So, museum is generally they are set up in educational institutions. So, for A it is fourth, and herbaria. In herbaria, the plant specimens are collected and they are pressed on the herbarium sheets, and the sheets are arranged on a universally accepted system of classification. So, for B it is the third option. And botanical gardens, ex situ conservation of, their botanical gardens are an example for ex situ conservation of plants. So, ex situ conservation of plants means the plants, conservation of plants outside their natural habitat, no. So, the right option for for C, the fifth one is the correct match, and the fourth option is taxonomical key. So, taxonomical key, as I said, it contains a set of contrasting characters that is generally in pairs. So, that is, we call it as a couplet. So, for D it is 2. So, in the 4 options they have given, the right option is the second one. A 4, B, for B it is 3, and for C it is 5, and for D it is 2. Okay. So, which is the right option? Second one is the right option. Next we will move on to the next question. Naming system accepted universally is known as vernacular names, binomial nomenclature, zoological nomenclature, botanical nomenclature. See here, so when naming the living organisms, so one should follow certain rules and all. So, nomenclature, it is nothing but what? Naming of living organisms. So, while naming the living organisms, the most accepted system of naming the living organisms was the binomial nomenclature, which was proposed by Carl Linnaeus. Okay. So, this is because this binomial nomenclature, it provides a proper and distinct name to various living organisms, and moreover, it was very convenient to understand and follow. So, that is why the most accepted the system, universally accepted system of naming the living organism was the binomial nomenclature, which was introduced by proposed by Carl Linnaeus. Then, so which is the right option? Second one is the right option. Then we will move on to the next question. Question number 20. Pick the incorrect statement about a species. Each species may have one or more genus. No, it is a wrong statement. Each genus may have one or more related species. So, here they are given each species may have one or more genus. No, related species are placed under a single, that is the common genus, one single common genus. So, the first option is, first statement they have given is the incorrect one. The second one is, the group of organisms in a particular species freely interbreeds among themselves. The group of organisms in a particular species, of course, they are freely interbreed among themselves to produce a particular fertile offspring. So, then only we can say those two organisms will belong to the same species, and each species has some distinct morphological features than other species. So, when compared to the other species, so each species has some distinct morphological features. Then second part of biological name consists of a specific name, that means specific epithet, species name. So, second, third and fourth options, all the 3 statements are correct. Only the incorrect statement here is the first one. So, the option is the first option. Then next question, select the incorrect match with respect to mango. Systematic position of mango. So, mango belongs to the kingdom of Plantae, followed by the division Angiospermae, followed by class, that is Dicotyledonnae, order is Sapindales, okay, and family Anacardiaceae, genus Mangifera, species Indica. What is the scientific name of mango? It is Mangifera indica, no? So here family name they have given Anacardiaceae, that is the right one. A class they have given Dicotyledonnae, that's also right. Order that should be Sapindaceae. Here they are given Sapindaceae. Okay. So here family name when it comes to plants, the suffix, the family name, that is suffix that should end in AC, ACE, AE. But when it comes to order, the suffix, that is the order name should end with AS, ALES. Okay. So here order they are given Sapindaceae. It is not Sapindaceae, it is Sapindales. So that is the incorrect one. Division Angiospermae, that is right. So the right option is the third, because it is an incorrect match. Then next is a taxonomic study of newly discovered organisms is done by collecting its actual specimen and then identifying and classifying it. Is a very prime source in all taxonomical studies is the collection of the actual plant and the animal specimen. So that is the prime source for all taxonomical studies. So for taxonomical study, the first thing one has to do is collecting its actual specimen, then it is followed by the identification of that particular collected specimen, and then after identification then later it is classified. Okay. So the first option what they have given is correct only, collecting its actual specimen and then identifying and classifying it. Only, and the second option they have given only identifying it wrong, so that is wrong. Studying previous recorded information about various other organisms. So first is the collecting its actual specimen. Okay. So third option is also wrong. Gathering information about its habitat and habit only. So habit is nature, habitat is the place where that particular plant or animal species, okay, living. So first option is correct here. Taxonomic study of a newly discovered organism is done by collecting its actual specimen and then identifying and then classifying it. So that is the right option. First one is correct. Then next question. Term systematics was derived from Greek, Latin, English. Okay. Ecological information of organisms, Greek, and evolutionary classification. See here, systematics, as we discussed, is a term which was derived from Latin. So what does it mean? A systematic arrangement of organisms. So what is the correct option here? Latin. Second option is correct. The term systematics was derived from Latin word, and the systema means what? The systematic arrangement of organisms. That is second one. That is the second option is correct. Then we will move on to the next question. A group of organisms belonging to one or more related orders are assigned to. So a group of organisms belonging to one or more related orders are assigned to the next higher level. So its next higher level is the class, no? So class is a group of how we define a class. It's also a taxonomic category which comes that is when we go on from when we arrange it in ascending order, it will come after next to order, right? So we can define class as a group of related orders, right? So here they are given the group of organisms belonging to one or more related orders are assigned to a different class. Is they assigned to different class? They are assigned to the same class, not to different class, on the basis of few similar characters. So first option they are given different class they are given, so that is wrong, because the organisms belonging to one or more related orders are placed in the same class, and any taxa lower to order, not to any taxa lower to the order, but to the next higher order after next higher level after the order, that is the class. So second option is also wrong. Same family due to similar morphological characters, not to family but related orders are placed, that is group of organisms belonging to one or more related orders are assigned to the same class. On what basis? On the basis of a few similar characters. Okay, then next question. The specific epithet in Solanum tuberosum and Canis familiaris respectively is Solanum tuberosum, a scientific name of potato, Canis familiaris, scientific name of dog. So in Solanum tuberosum, Solanum is generic name, whereas tuberosum is a specific epithet. So in Canis familiaris, Canis is the generic name and familiaris is the specific epithet. Okay. So the specific epithet in Solanum tuberosum and Canis familiaris respectively is the tuberosum and familiaris, okay, are the specific epithets. Okay. So which is the right option then? Third one is the right option. Tuberosum and familiaris represent the specific epithets of the potato and the dog. Solanum tuberosum and Canis familiaris. Right option is the third one. Then next is the suffix of the family ends with. So in case of plants, the suffix. So according to ICBN, the names, the categories name should end in a standard endings. So the suffix generally used for the family, the suffix of the family that ends with ACE, EAE, IEAE, ORDEA. So the suffix of the family should end with ACEAE. Okay, like Anacardiaceae, Liliaceae, Solanaceae, Fabaceae. So it should end with the family, the suffix of the family end with ACEAE. Okay, first option is correct. Then the word taxon signifies a taxonomic group of any rank, scientific name of an organism, developmental processes of an organism, ecological importance of organism. So the word taxon signifies, so taxon refers to what? It is any level or any rank in the taxonomical hierarchy. It may be a species, genus, okay. So all representing a taxon. Species is one taxon, genus is one taxon, okay. So the word taxon signifies what? A taxonomic group of any rank. The first option is correct. Two organisms are from the same phylum but a different family. They may belong to the same. See, two organisms are from the same phylum. For example, if you take a dog and cat, both belongs to the same phylum, that is Chordata, but different family. So cat belongs to family Felidae and the dog belongs to family Canidae. So the organisms are from the same phylum but different family. They may belong to the same species, same division, order and genus. See, for example, the two families that is Felidae and Canidae, no? So that includes cat and the dogs. They belongs to the same order, that is order Carnivora. So because some similar characteristics they possess, okay, both having canine teeth, they are placed under some because of some similar characteristic features. So they are placed under the same order. So two organisms are from the same phylum. So listen carefully, two organisms from the same phylum. Okay, phylum is same but family is different. Both belongs to different family. So those organisms may belong to same order. See, for example, cat and dog, they both belongs to phylum Chordata and both belongs to the order Carnivora, but they belong to a different family. Cat belongs to Felidae and whereas dog belongs to Canidae. So option 3 is correct. Then next question. What is tatonym? It's a common name used as a scientific name, unscientific explanation of phenomenon, identical name for genus and species, non-Latinized name. See here, what is tatonym? So sometimes you know binomial nomenclature, so that should binomial epithet that should consist of two components, generic name and species name. If you take example as mango, genus name is Mangifera, species name is Indica. Suppose if you take that is particularly with respect to animals, so sometimes the generic name and the species name, no, both are identical, both are same, like Rattus rattus, and the scientific name of that is cobra, Indian cobra, that is Naja naja, Naja naja. Genus name is also same, species name is also same, like Naja naja. So if both genus and species names are identical, then they are called, then that is called as what? Tatonym. So what is tatonym here? Identical name for genus and species. So third option is correct. Then so which covers the largest number of organisms? Genus, family, class, phylum. So of the four, the highest taxonomic category is the phylum, right? So the largest number of organisms, which covers the largest number of organisms, right? Genus, family, class, phylum. So phylum covers the largest number of organisms because it includes a genus. After genus, next is family. No, the family includes one or more related genus, and the class includes one or more related orders. The phylum it is having the related classes. Okay, so which covers the largest number of organisms? Phylum covers the largest number of organisms. Option 4 is correct. Then next question, which is not a feature of all living organisms? Self-consciousness, metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness. So metabolism, every living organism's metabolism occurs. Cellular organization, all living organisms are made up of cells. You can see cellular organization in all living organisms. Consciousness, all living organisms are able to respond to their, they are aware of their surrounding. Consciousness. But self-consciousness, all living organisms will not show self-consciousness. Only human beings having the self-consciousness, only is aware of himself, what is happening in the surroundings and all. Okay, so which is not a feature of all living organism? Self-consciousness, because self-consciousness, only man is aware of self, human beings are aware of, that is they are having self-consciousness. So first option is correct. Then which of the following includes alphabetical arrangement of species of a particular place describing features? A monograph, catalogs, manuals and flora. Which of the following includes the alphabetical arrangement of a species of a particular place describing features? Monograph. So monograph contains information about any one taxon. So catalogs is the right answer. So because catalog is also an taxonomical aid, that includes the alphabetical arrangement of a species of a particular place describing its features. And manuals and flora, that contain, manuals contain the detailed information that is about the plant species found in a particular place, and flora that contains, it's a book containing information about the habitat and distribution of plant species found in a particular area. Okay, so here they are given, which of the following includes the alphabetical arrangement of a species of a particular place describing features? So that is catalog. Option 2 is correct. Then which of the following is a wrong representation of a common name, family, order and class? So common name, man. So man belongs to family Hominidae. They are given primate, that is a order. So family is Hominidae, order is Primata. Okay, and the class Mammalia, but here they are given Chordata. So that is the wrong representation of common name, family, order and the class. Remaining all, that is housefly belongs to family Mucidae, order Diptera and the class Insecta. So that is right. A mango that belongs to family Anacardiaceae, order Sapindaceae, class Dicotyledonine, that's also right. Fourth option, common name wheat that belongs to family Poaceae, order Poace, class Monocotyledonine, that's also right. So only the wrong representation here is the common name of man. So that's wrong. That is a wrong representation because family, order and class all are wrong, they are given. So first option is correct. Which of the following represents phylum? Mammalia, that is class. Chordata is phylum. Solanum is generic name. Carnivora is a order. So which of the following represent the phylum here? Phylum Chordata. Second one is the right option. Then the next question. Which of the following sets of characters may be considered as the most defining property of living organisms without exception? So defining features, as I said, it must be exclusively of living beings. No non-living things should possess that feature. Okay, so then only it is called as defining property of living organisms. The first one is reduction, growth and movement. So no, growth is not a defining property. Response to stimuli, locomotion and sexual reproduction. So reproduction is not a defining property. Metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness. So all are metabolism. So all living organisms exhibit metabolism. No non-living things show metabolic reactions, and cellular organization, no non-living things are made up of cells. There is no cellular organization in non-living things. And consciousness. So consciousness, all living organisms are aware of their surroundings. No non-living things will respond to stimuli. They are unaware of their surroundings. So metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness are the defining property of living organisms. Fourth, they have given genetic material. Growth again, it's not a defining property. So on self-replication, okay. So the right option here is the third one. Without exception, they are asking. So metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness, all are the defining property of living organisms. So third one is the right option. Okay. So I end up this session here. Hope you understood. Thank you.